Good morning. So we are going to start a new project. This is the Shopping Percent project. It will be due on Wednesday, February 20th. Each student will hand in the following: one shopping flyer with 5 items, prices, and discounts labeled, one answer key with the sale prices of each item with all calculations, and one receipt for at least 2 items from your store with tax calculations. So I'm going to go through an example of what all of this would look like. You are allowed to work alone or with one other person. If you work with another person, both names will need to be on the flyer. Each student will have an answer key. Okay, so that means 2 answer keys will get turned in, and each student will have a receipt. So the only thing that will not be doubled, you only have to make 1 flyer, and then each of you will have an answer key. Each of you should have a different receipt. Okay? The answer key will obviously be the same, but the receipt should be different. All right, so for the directions. On a blank sheet of paper, make a sales flyer for a store that you create. Be sure to include a creative store name. This may be computer generated or hand drawn. Remember to put your name on it too. Okay, so I'm going to show you an example of this. So I came up with my own necklace shop. Okay, so I named it My Necklace Shop. I came up with an item, a heart necklace for $9.99 that has a discount of 20% off. Okay, this is all the flyer will need to have on it. It will need to have the item, the name of the item, the original cost, and how much percent off. We don't want to put the new price yet. That will be on our answer key. Okay, so I added another item, a name engraved necklace for $15.99 with 12% off. And then a BFF friendship necklace for $16 with 30% off. You will need 5 items on your flyer. So for my flyer, I just did the 3 items as examples. Each item should be a different price. Each item should be a different percent off. Okay, again, this may be computer generated, this may be hand drawn, whichever works best for you. Okay, so then your sales flyer will have 5 pictured items with the original price and the percentage off only, as seen in my example. Make sure to include a different percent off for each item. Also include the name of each item. 5 different original prices, 5 different percents off. 2 must have an additional sale on the sale. So for example, if it was 30% off, but an additional 10% off if you buy it today. Okay, so if I were to say, go back to my flyer, the flyer says 20% off, and then I might say extra 10% off if you buy it today. Okay. Be creative. Make sure everything is neat, colorful, and spelled correctly. You may want to include a short description of each item. On the answer key paper, show all work and find the sale price of each item in your flyer. Make sure this is neat and accurate. You are encouraged to use a calculator to check your work. Okay, so I'm going to show you an example of what my answer key would look like for the heart necklace. Okay, so I have the heart necklace, the original price, I said was $9.99. The percent off was 20%. So to calculate this, I need to find out what 20% of $9.99 is. So what I need to do is I need to change 20% to a decimal so that I can multiply them. Okay, 20% as a decimal is equal to 0.20, because when you need to change a percent to a decimal, you take the percent sign away, you put the decimal at the end, and you move it 2 times to the left. Now the same thing works if I wanted to change a decimal to a percent. If I change a decimal to a percent, I take the decimal and then I move it 2 places to the right, and that makes this 20%. Okay, so I need to find out what 20% of $9.99 is. So now that I've changed it to a decimal, I can multiply it. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say $9.99 times 0.20. Okay, and I'm going to forget about the decimals till the end. I'm going to go ahead and do my calculations. Okay, and then don't forget to get rid of, and I know everything multiplied by 0 is 0. So if I bring everything down, okay, but I've got to move the decimal 1 time, or 4 times, because we have 2 up here, 2 up here. So I take it and move it 4 times. Okay, and I've got 1.998. Okay, but that 8's going to end up rounding that 9, okay, because it is bigger than 5. So if that rounds that to 10, this is going to round to $2 off, okay. So what I'm going to do is I know that my discount is $2 off, okay. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say, well, $9.99 subtract $2 is equal to $7.99. So my new price would be $7.99. Okay, and that's before I did the 10%. So if I said, well, now it's $7.99 for the new price, but if you buy it today, you can have another 10% off. So I would take that new price, and again, I would have to change 10% to a decimal. Okay, so if I've got $7.99, and then 10% as a decimal is equal to 0.10. So I would need to multiply the 0.10. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to use a calculator real quick. So 7.99 times 0.10, I would get about 0.799. So I'm going to round that to 80 cents because the 9 rounds the 9 to a 0, and 10 would round the 7 to an 8. So this rounds to 80 cents. So that means if this is 80 cents, that means I get another 80 cents off of the $7.99. So I'm going to say $7.99 subtract the 80 cents. And I would get 9, 1, and 7.19. So my cost is $7.19 before tax of the new price, with 20% off the original price and then 10% off if I bought it today. Okay, so let's go through another one. So if we were to want to know the new cost of the engraved necklace, okay, I said that the engraved necklace was $15.99 with a 12% off. So we've got our original price of $12.99. We know that 12% off, remember I told you change it to a decimal, is going to equal 0.12. Okay, I will multiply $12.99 times 0.12. I will get 1.5588. Okay, this is when rounding becomes super important. This 8 is bigger than 5, so it rounds that 5 up to a 6. So this means I get a sale of $1.56. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my original price of $12.99 and I'm going to subtract the discount of $1.56, and the new cost of my engraved necklace is going to be $11.43. Okay, so if you still have questions, just let me know. All right, so for the final part of your project, you have to do a receipt. Okay, so for the receipt, you've already done your new answer key, so we know that the new heart necklace, if I purchased it today, would cost me $7.19. Okay, and then the cost of my engraved necklace with my 20% or my 12% discount was $11.43. So I'm going to get a subtotal of how much I spent. So I spent $18.62 before tax. Now remember, tax 7%. Remember, change that 7% to a decimal. So what I can do is I can say, well, I know that 7 has a decimal here. If I take the percent sign, move it twice, that means that 7% as a decimal is 0.07. So I'm going to multiply by 0.07. Okay. And I get 1.3034. Well, that 3 is not bigger than 5, so the actual tax will be $1.30. Okay. Now, if I know my tax is $1.30, remember tax means that your price should increase. So I'm going to take my tax and my subtotal, and I'm going to combine them together to get a total cost. So $18.62 plus $1.30 is $19.92. Okay, so there is my receipt. Okay. So remember, in your final project, you will have a shopping flyer with 5 items, prices, discounts labeled. Okay, so such as the one I showed you earlier, the one I came with, my necklace shop. Okay, you need 5 items with all of those things included. An answer key. Okay, we will provide the answer key sheet for you, but it will have things such as the original price, the percent, and the new price. And then you will have a receipt. Okay, so that is where you decide 2 things that you would like to purchase and then add 7% tax. Remember, your receipt should reflect your answer key where you got your new prices with the percents off. Okay. Also, if you are working in a pair, remember you will have 1 flyer per pair, but each of you will have an answer key, and each of you will come up with your own receipt. All right, any other questions? Just ask.